With 6 games to go, we're in a title fight with PSG, Lens and Marseille. We have a kind run of fixtures with Nantes, Toulouse and Auxerre all in the bottom half of the table, so they need to be wins. So whilst PSG and Marseille win, Lens lost their game and we frustratingly drew 1-1 with Nantes, who scored from their only shot in target in the game. That means we're now 5 points behind PSG, but arguably have the kindest run of fixtures for the final 5 games. PSG may have knocked Lens out of the battle though, with a 3-0 win, whilst Marseille stay 5 points behind the league leaders with a big win of their own. However, despite taking the lead against Toulouse, they were the ones to win, as they scored in the 81st and 92nd minute to take all 3 points from the game, leaving us 8 points behind PSG. Title hopes might just be over. But whilst we did get back to winning ways against Auxerre, PSG also won their next game 4-1 as Marseille lost to Monaco. This means PSG have an 8-point lead over us both with 9 points available. Somehow, I don't think PSG are going to lose every single game from here on out. And their next game was on a Friday night before everyone else played over the weekend, which they won, meaning they lift the title in quite an anti-climax. At this point, I think our players gave up as well, as we suffered a 6-3 defeat away from home to Monaco, and then a 5-3 defeat at home against Marseille. The worst part is we dominated the match and Marseille scored all 5 goals from their only 5 shots on target. So heading into the last day of the season, we actually run the risk of missing out on Champions League football if we lose whilst Lens and Nice win. But thankfully we are playing against bottom of the table Brest, who have 2 wins all season. I mean, surely we are going to win this game, right? But of course, we still have the chance of silverware as we take on Lorient in the French Cup final to round off the season. So I must say, in between episodes has been a complete disaster. We just fell apart. And now it looks like we were never in a title fight with PSG at all. But we really were. But at least we can almost celebrate Dion Drenner-Bellio picking up the top scorer award this season. Although he won't play in the Brest game because he's currently recovering from a slight injury he picked up midweek. So I don't want to risk him in this game, I'd rather save him for the cup final. That means that Matisse Lambourdet is going to start up front with Anan on the right wing, who's just coming back from his injury actually, he's been out for a little while too. Koba not in the starting lineup today, Belic takes his spot because he is currently suspended. So actually there is a lot riding on this match. We have to make sure we win it to secure Champions League football because the money we get for the Champions League is way more than we get for the Europa League. Even though, kind of deep down, I think I'd rather be in the Europa League at this stage because I reckon if we're in that next season, we would have a great chance of winning it. We're not quite there yet for the Champions League. I think if we got the Europa League football, we would go on to, have a great chance of winning it, like I say. So for me, I want the Champions League money, but I do want the trophy in the Europa League as we hit the post early doors here from a good attacking move down the far-hand side of the pitch. Now, as I try and explain in between episodes, I really don't know what happened. Like, we did play really well. You take that Marseille game, for example. We lose 5-3, but we've dominated the match and we've conceded 5 goals from 5 shots on target. Like, it was just, I want to say a freak accident, but we also lost 6-4 as well at one point, or 6-3. In that game, I think it was, Matisse Lambourdet. You love to see it, has got the goal we need. Oh yeah, Monaco beat us 6-3. That was it. And they were the better team in that game. But again, it was more like they had 8 shots on target and 6 went in the back of the net. So maybe it's an issue with Etienne Green. But for the most part this season, he has been superb. And for the most part this season, our defence has been really good. But I think what we need to be doing this upcoming summer is probably strengthening the defence. Our attack is great. We've got 2 good strikers in Yakubu and in Dion Drenner-Bellio. We've got 2 great right wingers in Lambourdet, who can also play up front, and Anan as well. The left wing is maybe the weakest part of it, but again, we've got Ardazone, who's very young, coming through, will be very good, and Bassi's a decent player as well. So I don't really want to make any additions to the attack unless we maybe get rid of Yakubu, maybe bring another striker because Yakubu's picked up a long-term injury. Maybe we don't want to take that risk going forwards with him as we just missed the target there. Maybe we use Pinto and the guy coming in from Vojvodina as backups and we get a really good centre mid on attack on the right-hand side to strengthen the midfield. So I think most of our budget has to go into the defence and seeing where we can improve our centre-backs and full-backs. Obviously, Tom Roth is only here on loan this season. He goes back to Dortmund. We have got the option to sign him for 17 million, but that seems like a lot of money. Perez Vinloff has been great for us, but whether he's good enough to be starting week in, week out next season remains to be seen, although he has put some good performances in there. Justin Che, I feel like he's been pretty solid this season, but he's not on the level that Gonzalo Esteves was. And I feel like we need to make an improvement on him. I'm very happy with Tarek Buchman. I think he's been quite good at the back. Bastian obviously is our long-term left centre-back, but whether he's good enough to be starting every game next season, I don't know. Is Fontaine still good enough? I don't know. We have to be looking next season at defensive improvements, I think, to improve our personnel there. And then I am very personally attached to Etienne Green. I like the idea of him being our goalkeeper through the entire series because, you know, he started at the club. He's got lots of potential. We're St. Etienne, he's called Etienne. We play in green, he's called green. Like, it's perfect. I love it. But I think at half-time, as we are winning 2-0, very happy with the shots we're having so far, we might need to step back from that romantic look at our goalkeeper and actually think logically and think, okay, he's actually conceded a lot of goals at the end of this season as Justin Che now picks up an injury. Hollick's going to come on for him, obviously. Are we better off signing a new goalkeeper? Because our youngsters who came through a youth intake, Arno and the guy who came through in yesterday's episode, I can't remember his name, they're not ready for the first team yet. So we have to start thinking, okay, Hollick's now injured. What? Well, Jesus Vallejo can play there, but that's not ideal to have both of our right backs injured right before the cup final. Anyway, as I was saying, I think the transfer window is going to be really interesting when we get round to doing that. And I think we're going to bring in a lot of defenders, but it's going to depend on the budget we have. It's going to depend on who's available to us. Obviously, we are complaining that we are conceding goals right at the end of the season. We're still in the Champions League spots right now as things stand, unless Brest come back and win this game as they just pick up a goal there to make it 2-1. It is going to VAR though. I didn't see an offside on it though, and neither did the VAR. So now we need to be very careful going forwards. I've also neglected to make changes, so let's do that. Carrizo, on you come. Let's also bring Cerny on the right-hand side to see what he can do too. Hopefully Cerny's last game for the club. Ideally, we do sell him this upcoming... No. Oh my... No. Ooh. Now... No. I thought this game was comfortable. What is happening to us in these final 6 games of this? We've been so poor. To the point where I'm not sure we're even going to win this cup final coming up. Wait, so analysis, what's happening right now? Oh my word, right. So, Lens are winning against Auxerre. Nice are winning against Nantes. Right, okay. As it stands right now with a draw, we're okay. If we concede one more goal, we're out of the Champions League places. I was just happily talking about transfer policy being 2-0 up, and now all of a sudden we have to actually focus up here. Jesus Vallejo! What a time to score your first goal of the season. That gives us some breathing room with 5 minutes to go. Right, if we can just hold on to this now, that would be lovely, please. 3rd place is where we're going to finish if results stay as they are right now. And actually, I think that's to our advantage. I would imagine the top 3 teams in France go straight to the group stage, and 4th place has to go through some qualifying rounds. So if we can avoid the qualifying rounds, that makes our life a little bit easier. But if we can score a 4th goal right now, that would just take all the pressure off us as Jesus Vallejo comes forward, puts the ball across the penalty area. It's cleared only as far as... Oh no. Right, Brest are coming on the attack. But luckily Bastian's there to make the interception, but we just give it away through Perez Vinloff, who's now out of position. Ronaldo brings it forwards, cuts into the penalty area, and Etienne Green is forced to make a very important save. 45 seconds left on the clock here. We just need to clear the corner, which we have done. And Tarek Buchman now is in a foot race. Can he shoot? Shoot! The keeper's a mile away. Oh, he can't quite get his shot off, unfortunately. And then he gives the ball to Ardazone, who's fouled in the area. Apparently not. The ball goes out for a throw. I'm sure we'll take our time with this. We have just scraped past Brest here, who have picked up 12 points in the entire season. 2 wins and 6 draws. That's all they've had this season. It's been ridiculous for them. And we almost come victim to them, basically, on the final day of the season. But we do end up winning. A little bit of squeaky bum time at the end there. Nice work, everyone. That was good. It wasn't, but, I'll try and keep morale up for the cup final. And that secures us a third place finish this season on 68 points. In the end, 12 points behind PSG. We were so much closer, but we just fell apart. However, I think that is something to celebrate. It's our highest ever finish, and we're back in European football, and it's the Champions League. Pollock, though, is out for 2 to 4 months with a hip injury. So if he's lucky, he'll be back for the start of next season. And Justin Che's got fractured ribs. He's out for 3 to 5 weeks. So they're both going to miss the cup final, which is a bit frustrating. But we have qualified for the Champions League, and the initial board budgets come in at, only £13 million. Why only 13 million? I guess we've only got 20 million pounds in the bank, and we did spend a lot this past January, so that is not what I wanted to see. We have got a lot of money in the wage budget, though, to spend. So we could move some of that to transfer budgets, but we are not going to be able to transform our defence in the way we wanted to. Now, maybe we're being a bit reactive to the results at the end of this season, and perhaps we don't need to actually make all those changes to the back line. But if we want to repeat this season, we do need to strengthen things and have a slightly bigger squad next season, because of course all the extra matches are going to add some fatigue to our players. Before the cup final, we'll just take a quick look at our other youth teams. The under-19s have finished 5th in their division, a long way off Nice, but to be fair, 5th is very good, because until this youth intake came in with a very good keeper, they actually played the entire season without a keeper, because there wasn't one in that squad, which I didn't realise until we actually got the youth intake coming through. So ideally, they've actually done very well there, all things considered. As long as the second team avoid defeat in the final game of the season, they will win their title in the 4th division. They can't get promoted out the 4th division, unfortunately, but it shows they've had a very good season, which is great for us. So the future is bright at this club, and we've also got a couple of youngsters coming in as well, which will help for the future of the club. And I tell you what could be nice, Leicester City buying Jose Fontan for 20.5 million. You know what? That would up our transfer budget, wouldn't it? And potentially we could get someone in who's decent. However, we do need to make sure they are better than Fontan, and if we can find someone better for less than 20 million. So we'll have to work out what's going to happen. He's got 3 years left on his contract as well, so it's a thought in the back of my mind at least that, Fontan could leave. And maybe Pablo Martinez should as well. He just keeps getting injured at the moment. It's really frustrating. Oh, and there's confirmation as well. The second team have won the league title. Looks like they drew their final game of the season. So they beat Lyon by a single point to the title, but that's great for us. Now, hopefully we're going to add to the silverware by winning the French Cup. And annoyingly, Matteo Perez-Vinlov can't play in this game because he played earlier today in the second team game. I've had him playing second team games all season to make sure he's got match sharpness and playing constant football. But it's not worked out today, actually, which is rather frustrating. I'm sure he would have rather played in this game. So he's going to have to come off the entire team. Luckily, we can bring Tom Roth on. Justin Che and Hollick obviously both injured, so we'll bring Jesus Vallejo on in that position. Fontan comes on for Bastion in what could be his final game for the club. Pablo Martinez, of course, injured again. That means Koba can come back into the team here as well, so we'll play him. And as you can see, we're a little bit light on the ground. Oh, also, Deandre Nabelio comes back on for Matisse, who will bring on the right wing instead of Anan for the final time this season. Now, I am actually really nervous for this game because we've been rubbish in the past month, and I think Lorient have been okay. I mean, they're sort of a mid-table team, I think. I can't quite remember where they actually finished, but... And look at their formation, by the way. They are literally playing with like 4 strikers. They know our defence is weak at the moment, so they are just going for it. In the meantime, Tom Roth has got a free kick, and an early lead in this game would be superb as he hits the post. Oh, that is so frustrating. The highlight is actually continuing here, though, as we've recycled possession to the far side of the pitch, and Tarek Buchman is bringing it forwards into Jesus Vallejo. Matisse Lambordet now has a chance to put a ball into the middle. He finds Tom Roth, edge of the area, who misses the header. Seiler collects the ball, finds Belic, who can bring it down this near side instead as Tom Roth beats his man. Can't quite put the ball in the middle just yet. Has to beat his man once again. Does. Finds Belic, who puts the ball to Vallejo. Shoots. Go on. Finds the pass to Matisse Lambordet instead, and it falls to Federico Ardazzone after a blocked shot from Lambordet, and we have taken the lead in the final. That has settled me down just a little bit, and if we can score another goal here in quick succession to double our lead, that would be beautiful. Now, we have just lost possession, but we've won it back in the centre circle with Buchman, who can dribble it forwards and actually take it quite far into the Lorient half. Find Vallejo out wide, who's playing as a makeshift right back today. Finds a good pass to Koba. Belic, first time shot from the edge of a D. What a time to get your third goal of the season. He doesn't score many, but when he does, they're important. Belic, you love to see it. And now we are in control of this game. I've just noticed the stats as well. 11 shots to 0 from Lorient. Despite them playing with about 4 strikers, they have not been able to utilise them properly. And a third goal here would surely put the game to bed with 26 minutes played, as Roth has got so much space over here on this near side. His cross, is just tipped wide, I think. I think it's come off the goalkeeper there from Bellio's shot and out for a corner. I will say, actually, there's a lot riding on this for Lorient. This is their ticket to European football next season. If they win the Cup, they'll be in the Europa League next season. But right now, they are not fighting for it as Bellio finds Lambert, hits the post. We're all over this team right now. Where was this energy in the title fight? Why did we capitulate in those final 6 games of the season when we've been able to perform like this? Saying that, we did perform like this a lot. It's just that other teams scored like they're only 5 shots on target in the game. It's just, I've never done anything quite like it. And just before half-time, Ardazone's got a corner in towards Bellio, cleared, but only as far as Belic, who likes to shoot from distance. That might just be a little bit too far away, though, as he brings the ball down the near side, finds a cross towards Bellio, goes over his head, hits the foot of Lambert, who scores his 20th goal of the season in all competitions. Remember, a lot of them were in the second division in the first half of the season, but still, it's a great achievement for him. However, Lorient look like they may have their first shot on target, which of course goes in the back of a net. This is what I mean. It can't just be Etienne Green's fault. So half-time, we've had 15 shots, 7 on target, 3 goals. Lorient have had 1 shot, 1 on target, 1 goal. I mean, it is concerning. I mean, Etienne Green's concentration is 13, right? I mean, if it was 1, I'd maybe understand it. He had to do nothing all game and then suddenly he's called into action and then just can't do anything because he's not focused. Although looking at his career stats, he does on average concede 1 a game pretty much. Perhaps we do need to improve and just get that next level of goalkeeper in for the next few seasons who, will keep the extra few clean sheets and make that slight difference. But also it might just be a fault of our back line not being... I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below as we do win the ball back on 51 minutes and Fontan can bring the ball forward with a pass towards Roth, who dribbles it up to halfway, brings it into the Lorient half about 10 yards or so, and then plays it back to the halfway line. We're now just passing it back and forward a little bit to work some space and see where the channels are open. And the channel is open with Ardazone. He finds Bellio, who you'd put money on scoring from that position. He has put it over the bar, though. Oh, no, it was a deflection because there's a corner off this. So actually, we can't blame him for that. It was a great deflection or stop by the defenders. Either way, we don't score from the corner, so it doesn't really matter too much. Let's make a couple of changes. Who deserves to play in a cup final? Most of our players do. I'm going to take Fontan off for Bastien here. I'm going to bring Anan on as well for Deandre Belli, who's not playing that great. Let's see what he can do up front rather than on the right wing. Leave Matisse on the right wing. A 4th goal here would be absolutely beautiful, and it would be nice for Anan to get it, actually. He's had a cracking season, especially the second half. After we brought in Matisse Lambert, he decided, I've actually got to play for my place in this team right now. So he did. He scored a bunch of goals and was fantastic for us. Got unlucky with his injury, was out for a little while for most of those final 6 games of the season, actually, to be fair. And when he did start to get back into things, it was off the bench because Matisse had been playing quite frequently and getting goals and assists. But he definitely deserves a goal here today, and I'd like to see him get it. How we fit him and Bellio and Matisse Lambert in the team next season, I still haven't worked it out. That's a bad challenge from Koba. That's a straight red card, isn't it? All day, every day. Koba. So now, actually, what we might do here is bring Ardazone into the centre of midfield and play these two up front together. You can be a deep lying forward because you kind of like that. And then we'll bring Carrizo on, who was meant to be like, the star man for the future. Looked like he had great current ability at 18 years old, and we thought, wow, this guy's going to be amazing in the future. Get him on loan, optional future fee. It's only like £1 million or so, I think, or maybe 2 million. Either way, he's not quite turned out to be the player that we thought he was going to be. So actually, I'm quite glad we didn't sign him on a permanent deal. But the game is slowly ticking away now. There's 13 minutes still to play. It kind of does hang in the balance still in the cup final. If Lorient score now, it's going to be a very nervy final few minutes of the game. Fortunately, they didn't score there. Fortunately for us, the clock is ticking down. And fortunately for us, I think we have just about done enough to win our first bit of actual real silverware in this save. The French Cup, the Coupe de France. We are the champions of it. And hopefully we're going to be seeing this on screen, this presentation, several more times across this series when we win Ligue 1 and the Champions League and other European competitions, and hopefully more Coupe de France as well. It's been a very successful season. It could have been a lot more, right? If those final 6 games had gone a bit better, it could have been a lot more exciting in a title crunch fight. But I don't think we would have had the ability to beat PSG. Actually, I think they might have won all their final 6 games of a season. So even if we did as well, they would have won the title. But it was a bit anticlimactic how we just weren't in that fight in the end. But you know what? We have won this, and that for me is good enough. So next season, we're in the Champions League. I don't think we're going to have enough about us to go on and win it, but never say never. This team is good. We're improving all the time. We've got some great youngsters coming in next season as well. Who knows? Maybe we could cause an upset.